Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. In this verse of Ashtavakra Gita, Ashtavakra tells us all, including Raja Janaka, this world is full of self-abiding souls whose vasanas have dried up and who revel in the self alone. Before we go into this verse, let me tell you in detail about vasanas. When a living entity identifies himself or herself as the mind body complex, he or she is victimized by what is known as false ego. False ego is one where a person is identifying with his mind body complex, which is made up of four layers major. First, the causal intelligence. Second, the astral mind. Third, etheric senses. And fourth, gross body. These are supported by ego. When the ego is identifying with the mind body complex, it becomes what is known as false ego. Vasanas means senses. Senses means etheric body. There are five major senses. They are sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. These are given an outlet into the major universe through sense organs which are in the gross body. They are two eyes for the sight, two ears for hearing, one nose for smell, one tongue for taste, and the complete skin for touch. Now, vasanas. What exactly happens is these sense organs on their own cannot react or act. They are just like mirrors. They only reflect something to the etheric body. These sense organs get some images which are reflected to the etheric body. When they reach the etheric body, the reaction to what raw data the organs have sent is either attraction towards something or distraction towards something, love or hate, etc. But even here, it is only in the raw data stage. It is sent back to the mind of the living entity. Mind is astral but material. Mind gives birth to emotions, feelings, love, hatred, pain, pleasure, etc., the dual opposites. It is the one that gives a living entity a sense of pairs of opposites. When the etheric senses transfer the raw data to the mind starts masticating on the raw data and comes up with some half finished product which may be love, hatred, lust, conjugal love, greed, illusion, anger, and other such things, plus other feelings and emotions like pain, pleasure, happiness, distress, etc. This half finished product is transferred to the etheric senses. The etheric senses again masticate on this half finished product and then give an outlet to the result through the sense organs. This results in lust, anger, attraction, distraction, violence, revenge, discrimination, happiness, distress, etc., which are vibes that surround this material universe or which surround in this material universe because of individual vibrations of this type by several living entities. This all started with identification with the mind body complex. Please remember that the false ego acts as a catalyst in all this, whereas intelligence from the causal body seldom interferes unless it is absolutely necessary. In other words, this vicious circle of senses and vasanas goes round and round and round continuously during the life of a living entity from the gross body to the etheric body to the mind, from the mind back to etheric body, from etheric body to gross body, and so on. It keeps going like this as a vicious line or circle till the person dies. Seldom does this causal intelligence interfere. It tries to remain detached because it is the closest layer to the spiritual soul. Now here Ashtavakra says, a person who abides in the self. When a person abides in the self, the question of false ego does not arise. Such a person identifies himself or herself as the soul and not as the material body. Soul is spiritual. Hence, here vasanas cannot do anything. They get dried up at the etheric body stage. They do not affect the mind or the causal body. Even if they do, there is no use because the living entity has started abiding in the self and identifying with the soul. It just dries up like raindrops drying up in a desert. It is of no use to anybody. Ashtavakra says that such a person who abides in the self has no vasanas, and hence he or she revels in the self, becomes blissful, happy, starts identifying sooner or later with the Brahman, and gets self realized and goes back to Godhead. That is, the soul joins with the super soul. The spark from the eternal flame joins the eternal flame. In fact, it does not come out as a spark at all. It remains there forever. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.